first page basically of your Upwork profile, because we do have a webinar where I've went into more detail in terms of Upwork, how to get started, all of that. I'm sure you guys can ask me policy. It's probably on the Collabora Hub website. So if you want to go back to that and watch that in more detail, you're more than welcome to. But for this specific session, we are focusing on the profile only. So to not waste any more time, as Tamila had mentioned, we're going to speak about optimizing your Upwork profile. I will be looking between two screens, so please don't think I'm not focusing. I'm just kind of flip between both. So when you say optimize, what does that mean? It basically means making the best of something to its absolute peak. In simple words, not trying to go around it, not trying to make it too complex. You're making it as best as you can with the tools that you have available. And what Upwork has done is it has provided us with a lot of different tools that you're able to use to make sure that your profile stands out amongst other profiles in a way that suits your style and your way of work. So we're going to start with the bio, which is the thing you see at the very, very, very top when you open your Upwork profile. And basically what that is, it's the first impression that the client has of you. So they haven't looked through everything because everything else is at the bottom. They haven't necessarily seen your skills. They haven't seen a picture. Okay, the picture is there, but they haven't seen a video. They've just seen the first two sentences of what you say you're able to bring to the table. So it's so important that you give as much information as you can in that bio to ensure that when a client is looking for you, they're able to quickly pick up whether you are the person that they're looking for, yes or no. So what does that mean? It means starting with a very strong hook. So highlight your expertise. What are you bringing to the table? What value are you bringing to the organization? What skills do you have that they can use for their business needs? Use a client-centric approach. So basically explaining to them how you can solve their problems. The biggest problem I've seen, as I've mentioned before, is that people kind of go into their bio and start talking about themselves. I know that in a generic term, a bio is about you, but in this sense, it's not necessarily about you. It's about how you are able to add value to the next person, essentially. And then also just showcasing your experience. So mentioning the industries that you've worked in, mentioning the clients that you have, mentioning the things that you've done before slightly, because also the biggest thing is, remember, it's a short bio. No one is trying to read a long paragraph about what you've done and your skills. So you need to keep it very short. You need to keep it concise. You need to keep it to the point so that it basically, in that, it says everything that needs to be said. So here I have an example that I'm just going to read out in terms of like how you can set up your bio. So it says, I help businesses increase their digital presence through engaging content and strategic marketing. With over 5 years of experience in content creation, social media management, and SEO, I've worked with startups and established brands to drive results. Let's take your brand to the next level. Period. It's literally 2 sentences. From that, the client knows what you've done, how many years of experiences do you have, what are your core skills, and how can you add value to their company. So make sure that when you're putting together your bio, 2 things, you're not saying anything too long. And the second thing, you're going to the point, you're very concise. You're speaking on how can I add value to this person. The minute that they read it, are they picking up on the value that you are able to add to their organization? So that's basically your profile, your bio. Then we're going to move on to choosing the right skills. So when you come into Upwork, one of the things, you can always edit it, but when you start out, you're setting up your profile and you're able to choose certain skills according to what your skills are. This is important because obviously Upwork is a software, and like any other software, like any other app, it has an algorithm in itself. And so it uses those skills that you have put there to push you forward in front of the right clients. So you need to make sure that when you are choosing the skills that you're saying you're able to provide, you've done some research on what are your competitors offering, what are other people in your industry, what are they doing, what are they saying, and does it align with what you are able to offer. This is where you don't necessarily have to be an expert in terms of SEO, but having a basic understanding of how search engine optimization works, because in itself, Upwork does have a search engine and it uses that to push you forward. So look at the keywords that you are able to use to push yourself in front of the right clients. For instance, the example here that I've given is using a mixed broad and niche skills example instead of just saying SEO, because SEO is huge. You can go SEO writing, you can go technical SEO, this kind of hones down and narrows you down to what you're looking for, especially if you are getting a good quality client who is trying to reach out to you. They know exactly what they're looking for, so they won't go and put in a more generic term. They'll put in a term according to the specific business needs that they have at the time. So here they'll put paid ads or they'll put organic ads. It will not just be, social ads or just Google ads. It will be a very narrowed down skill or niche that they're looking for that fits their needs. And you don't want to get missed if within, those people that can be chosen because you weren't specific about the kind of skills that you provide. Upwork allows you to choose 15 skills. So in those 15 skills, make sure that you are very specific. You're choosing skills that align with what you're looking for. You're looking at what your competitors are saying they offer in terms of the skills that they have that you also have, and basically come up with your set of skills from there. Do update them, obviously, according to what's happening in the industry at the time. A lot of keywords, especially not just in marketing, but in all these industries, new words kind of come up, new jargon comes up according to what's trending at the time. So if you can edit 2 or 3 words just to make sure that you don't get left behind when clients are looking for you. Another thing is the first thing outside of your profile bio that the client sees, which is your profile picture. As much as you would put a professional picture up on LinkedIn, I think that it's important to also put a professional picture up on Upwork. Put a picture that represents you well, a picture that is a good quality image, because all of that also speaks to how you are viewed from a visual perspective and also how people engage with your profile. The second thing is your video introduction. I had mentioned this in terms of how people don't necessarily like doing video introductions because they find them cringe, or they feel that they don't need to do a video. It's not necessary. They can send a cover letter, and all those things are somewhat true. But what a video introduction does is that it introduces you before you are able to even speak to the client, which increases your chances. Because this person is going through so many profiles, they're reading through so many cover letters, they're reading everything that they can read, and sometimes that just gets exhausting. It would be nice to just watch a 1-minute video where you're able to understand, can this person give me what they want, yes or no? One of the things that I offer my freelancers, if they are interested in that, is that I help them create a script, or I basically create a script for them. And what they do is they just fill in their skills in terms of like, hi, my name is whoever, these are the skills that I offer, this is the value that I can bring to the organization. I'd love to have a call with you guys. Because I understand that some people don't necessarily know what to say in those videos, because it's also not an opportunity for you to just ramble on and ramble on and ramble on about yourself. The same concept of how you would basically speak on how you add value to an organization in the bio is the same concept that you would apply to the video introduction. It's just that now you have a chance to elongate it. So speak more on what your skills are, being more in detail on what it is you have to offer the clients. Definitely, I would say if you're not sure what to say, ChatGPT is your best friend. Go there, say, these are my skills. I have this, I have this, I have this many years of experience. These are the services that I would like to offer, and help me create a script, speak in this specific tone. This is what I want to be able to say. It should produce something for you, and you can take it from there and use that to create your profile video. But those two things are essential. I see some people skip the profile video part. They just have the picture, because obviously you have to have a picture there, and they skip the profile video part. But if you can get to a point where you have both of them, definitely use both of them, because that's exactly what optimization is. Using every single tool at your disposal to make sure that your profile is as fair. Moving on to your portfolio. So your portfolio is just, it's basically just your work and what you've done before, and how you can showcase the results of the work that you've done before. So this would be different for each and every person. If you are like a graphic designer, obviously you'd have designs of the things that you've done in the past. If you're a video editor, you'd show videos that you've edited before. If you are a social media but more on the analytics side, then you would need to basically produce case studies. Your portfolio will be made of case studies. So what was the problem? What were you trying to solve? What were the results? What did that do for the clients? That's a definite big thing in terms of your portfolio. Most people do come and say, I'm not entirely sure what to put in my portfolio. Again, if you're not sure, ChatGPT is your best friend. It will give you a guide on how to set up a portfolio according to the niche that you're in. So it really depends on what niche that you're in. But the main things is selecting the high quality projects that you've done. So projects that you've done in the past, even if it was on a volunteer basis. The point is that you did that work and you are able to produce those services. Provide more context. So explain so that the person is able to understand what were you doing, what were you trying to achieve, and what was the result. Using visuals, obviously, to make it more visually appealing, to make it exciting to look at, to make it something that people want to engage with, and then updating it as much as you can. So obviously, as you grow your experiences, you grow the skills that you have, and you never know which skills could play a part in the new role that you're looking for or in the new client that you're looking for. So it's important that you update it as much as you can. So that's the portfolio. I have waited through a couple of slides. Does anyone have questions before I continue?
Question, guys, if you want to ask anything, you can raise your hand and then open your mic. I think we're good. We can move on.
Okay, cool. Okay, so let's say you don't have a portfolio. You have done no work yet. You're still building up your experience, or you've only done minimal jobs, or you haven't really done anything on Upwork yet. Because when you work on Upwork, what it does is that it records your past experiences and the things that you've done in the past. So let's say you don't have any of that. What Upwork allows you to do now is add your work history, which is, I think, is a very great beneficial feature because you never used to have that before. You'd get into your profile and it will just be empty because you haven't really done any work before. But since they've now added this feature that allows you to add your work history, so things that you've done on the outside of the platform that also speaks to your skills, which is basically what your work history is, what your experience is also a field that I would advise that you use to the maximum. As much as I've said, in the bio and in your video, keep it short, keep it concise. In your work history, especially if you haven't done anything on Upwork yet, be as detailed as possible. Because if somebody has come into your profile, they've gone through your bio, they've seen your video, they've seen the other things that are there, and they go all the way to work history, which is at the bottom of the profile, they must really be interested in knowing you and what you're able to do as a person. So that is the point where you go into detail. Also, a client that knows what they're looking for is looking for certain keywords. So doing keyword research in terms of what are the clients that you're looking for? What are they? What are the words that they're looking to see? Are they looking to see paid ads? Are they looking to see social first? Are they looking to see advertising? What are the words that you need to make sure you mention in the experience and in the things that you've done to make sure that you pick up the right client? So that's basically the work history. It's a consolidation of the things that you've done outside of the platform, that allows you to speak to your skills and get into more detail in terms of what it is that you've done and the value that you're able to provide. So that's the work history. Then we have the project catalog. I love this part of Upwork because what it says is I may not have the work history, I may not have the portfolio yet, but it doesn't necessarily mean I can't produce these results. So very much like Fiverr, on Fiverr you're able to basically create packages, set a price, and then you're not really able to market yourself on Fiverr, but on Upwork it gives you that feature where you're able to package your services and also market yourself because you're able to reach out and apply for gigs. So basically what a project catalog is, it's a consolidation of the services that you're able to provide that you've now broken down into different packages that someone is able to purchase from you. So when someone goes into a project catalog, obviously they want to know can I get what I need from this person? How much does it cost? How long will it take? So clearly defining your services, clearly defining the price, using a title that's short, that's concise, that gets to the point, that answers the question, do I need the service, yes or no? In terms of inside of the catalog, again, be as detailed as possible, because now this person will be paying for your services and they want to know exactly what's going to come out of this money that they're saying, especially if it's like a fixed project. For instance, if someone says, I need content for 2 months, so you can put a fixed price on, this is the process that I'm going to be doing in terms of creating this content for you. This is how much time it's going to take according to my previous experience. These are the pieces of content that I can provide in terms of numbers for these specific platforms, and this is how much it's going to cost. So just be as detailed as possible. I personally enjoy that because, like anybody, when you buy something, you want to know what does it come with and how much does it cost. So I enjoy the project catalog because it already gives the client an idea of your work and how much it will cost them. So there's no need to go back and forth in negotiating a price. The price is there. The moment they click and on that package and they say, yes, I want it, they've agreed to the price that you've set. So be sure that you don't obviously charge something that's absolutely ridiculous. And then also make sure that you're not robbing yourself. And also on the price point, in general, people, when they come into Upwork and they set up their price, it does ask you to set up your rate per hour. What people do is, because obviously it's in dollars and they want to make money, as we all do, they end up charging way above market price. And what that does is that it ruins your chances of landing a potential client, especially when you don't have work on the platform itself. Because what a client does is that they come onto Upwork, they look for somebody. Upwork already shows them the top rated freelancers, the rising stars, and all of that, which are the badges that you get as you continue to grow within the Upwork profile, within the Upwork platform, and those are according to your profile and the work that you have done. So you're new, you're in the platform. There are people who are, outside of the fact that it's a global platform, so there's people from different countries. There are people on that platform who are rising stars, who are top rated freelancers, who are pro freelancers, who are set by Upwork that they are the best. That's the people that you are competing with. Those people are charging, let's say, $30, $40 per hour. Yes, they're in your niche, they're doing what you're doing, but they have a lot more credibility behind their profile than you do. So you go in, you do your market research, you see that whoever is charging $40 per hour, but they're a top rated freelancer, and you believe that you should now charge the same $40 per hour. What that will do is that it will take you away from the small clients who are still new, who are looking to grow in the platform as well, because Upwork creates a client profile. As much as it creates a profile for you, it also creates a client profile. So sometimes it blocks them from interacting with other freelancers because of they're just relatively new. They want to vet them first and all of that. So it's best to charge a price that makes sense, in the sense that do market research, see people that have been in the platform as long as you have, how much are they charging, what skills do they provide, and try and charge something within that range. My advice is always starting at $5, the least. Anything lower than that is a bit too low, but starting at $5 and then taking it up gradually. So even when you jump, don't now jump from like 5 to 20, but like 5 to 8, 8 to 12, 12 to 15, and then eventually you'll get to the point where you want to be. Also, it depends on what niche you're in. You can't compete with someone who's in tech, who is, yes, their profile is new, but they're charging $20 per hour because they offer technical skills, as opposed to somebody who's in marketing, as opposed to someone who's in customer support. It's different, and that's where your market pricing comes in. So that's that on pricing, and that's that on your project catalog and setting up your prices for your project catalog. So here I did put an example of if you had to put together a project catalog service package, it would basically just be the name at the top. So it would be SEO, blog post, 1,000 words, optimized for ranking. It's a very short sentence, but it already tells the client what's going on, what are they getting from that. It tells them the price, which is $150. How long will it take for you to do it? 3 days. I would also suggest giving yourself enough time to make sure that you don't tell somebody you'll do something in 2 days and then you don't have the time to do that. Unless you know you're completely free, you don't have any other time that you can actually meet that deadline, then put those days there. But it's okay. I think for me, the biggest thing that I had, or that I still kind of have right now, is because obviously clients are clients and I want to be the best and all of that. Sometimes I will say, yes, I can do something in the span of like a week when I know I've got other things going on and I may not be able to meet that deadline. But I'm afraid that if I say, no, I can only do it in next week, I'm afraid that that person will be like, no, that takes too long. I need it now. Da, 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 da. In certain instances, you can bend your time a bit to fit that in, depending on what your situation is like. But doing that on a daily basis and working on that kind of those kinds of deadlines is going to end up exhausting you, especially because as a freelancer, well, you have two different options. You can be a freelancer that deals with multiple clients, or you can be with a freelancer that deals with one client. But if you deal with multiple clients, make sure that you spread out your time in a way that makes sense for you, because you don't want anybody to be giving a bad review, whereas you could have done the job properly, you just didn't give yourself enough time to do it. And then in the section that says includes, it's basically a short understanding or short description of what are you providing within that service. So you're including keyword research, meta descriptions, ACO, website, whatever services that you are providing within that specific package. Be as detailed as possible to make sure the person understands what they are getting out of you. And then we have testimonials. The biggest thing about testimonials is that people want to work with people that people have worked with, if that makes sense. So get as much social proof as you can. You know, if you've done something for a friend, if you've done something for a family member, ask them to write you a testimonial. If you've done something for a client, ask them to write you a testimonial that speaks to the work that you've done, that speaks to the skills that you have, that speaks to how you've basically helped them in their business. This will shoot up your clientele relatively high because it already gives you a very big sense of credibility and tells people that people actually want to work with you. The advice that I give people usually in the beginning is that if you're starting out and you want to grow your portfolio quickly, volunteering is the best thing that you could ever do. The problem with volunteering is that it is time, and most of the time people do what they do because they need money from it. And so asking someone to take away the monetary aspect and just be able to freely provide the service is a difficult thing for some people, which I completely understand if you need money at that moment in time. But genuinely, a lot of businesses need help and they don't have the budget to actually hire somebody because of, they're also a growing business at the time. Going and approaching those businesses, not saying now you'll work with them forever, but maybe a month or a month or two or a month or three, that helps build your portfolio. That person is obviously grateful for what you've done, how you helped their business. If you've worked well, they're willing to help write a testimonial for you. So it's a double-sided thing. It helps build your portfolio, it showcases your skills, and on top of that, it also gives you credibility because those people are willing to build up your social proof. They're willing to build up your testimonial so that in the future, when you start charging now, it's easier for clients to be like, oh, okay, cool. This person has actually worked with these people. They have 5, 6 testimonials. They have something to fall back on, which makes it a lot easier to enter the market when you're starting out. And then certifications. So being certified doesn't necessarily mean you need a degree. I champion, if you're not able to go to university, if you're not able to go to a college and get what would be a physical degree, you do still have the option to go online and learn skill yourself. I did that. I'm a self-taught digital marketing specialist. So I learned a lot of different skills online. As a degree, I have a degree in international relations, but it's not even part of anything that I do. I've even forgotten half of the stuff that they taught me. Because after I left that degree, I went straight into teaching myself how to do marketing, completing a couple of courses, earning a couple of certifications, and adding that to my portfolio, to my profile, is what put me in a position where I was able to attract clients more. Seeing the question. Is it me? Can you see what that question was? It just popped up and then it left.
Okay, I'll read it for you. So it says, it's from Amu. He says, "Hi, Timonoho and the rest of the people. Hope everyone is well. Question: how do I stand out as a new person who has uploaded projects on their dashboard but does not get clients or response?"
Yeah, okay. So when I answer that Nyana towards the end and we're almost there. So just be a little bit patient with me. But as I was saying with the certifications, basically, is go online, learn skills, platforms where you can get certifications. HubSpot, it's completely free. HubSpot, I love HubSpot so much. I could go and be their ambassador if I could, because HubSpot, outside of it being an amazing CRM, HubSpot works with so many companies because it's big and it's large that it updates its courses according to what the industry is saying. So most of the time, you'll find what can I say, top rated skills there. You won't find like old, for instance, okay, you can still find your social media management and your social media marketing because those are still relevant, but they update their courses every now and again to make sure that people upskill themselves according to what the industry is saying, especially within marketing because marketing and customer support because HubSpot is mostly a CRM. HubSpot is completely free. HubSpot has courses in social media and digital marketing, and paid ads and copy, and so many different things. Go and have a look there. Companies recognize it, people recognize it, and saying that I have a certification in this and this and this, and it gives you a certificate with your name on it. It's a normal course. Some of them take hours, some of them take weeks, some of them take months, depending on the context of the course. The second thing is Coursera. Coursera is also really great and it is recognized by professional bodies. And it has a range of courses in everything, honestly, not just one niche. Whatever it is that you want to learn, it allows you to learn that. And it has a financial aid service that they provide. So getting the course, learning the course is completely free. But to get the certification, you're going to need to pay for that. And if you can't pay for that, some of them are expensive. What you can do is that you can apply for financial aid and they'll give you a certificate. So those are my top two platforms. I'm trying to think of another one. I know I'm forgetting one more. Yeah, but those are the top two platforms that I know where you can get good certifications that are recognized by companies and that will keep companies available to work with you. And obviously there's LinkedIn. Honestly, personally, I've never tried the LinkedIn courses, but they are good if you are just trying to build a digital portfolio outside of Upwork and you want to go there and update and say, I've learned this, I've learned this, I've learned this. It's a good thing to have. But my two most recommended platforms would be HubSpot as well as Coursera. And then also updating your skills. So for instance, right now, a course that I am taking on or trying to take on is paid ads because I want to specialize more within that or move towards that more. And I realized that it is a skill that clients are looking for. And also keeping your ear to the ground in terms of trends. So an app that I've seen people are looking for is not Klaviyo, there's another one. Oh my God, forgot about it. But there's an app called Klaviyo, is an email marketing app. And I really want to, I forgot about it, but I'll put it in the group. There is a CRM that is just beneath HubSpot that a lot of companies are using now because it's cheaper to use. And most of the time when I speak to clients, they'll ask me, oh, are you able to use this thing? Are you familiar with it? A biggest thing also is also Notion. It's a big app. It's always been there, but now it seems it's more prominent. Companies are using it more and all of that. So if you can definitely learn the apps that are trending, the things that people want to use now in their companies, that will definitely be to your advantage. I know the biggest thing as well is Asana and project management and time management and Trello. So those apps, definitely knowing those apps, having those apps on your Upwork profile, because they do ask for these specific apps sometimes these times, is going to be another thing that boosts you and puts you in the front. So knowing your Google Sheets, your Excel, your Word documents is not going to cut it anymore. You definitely need to upgrade, learn your niche, learn what apps and softwares are being used in your niche, and learn how to use them within the services that you provide, because best believe they will ask you about them. And then we are at final tips. So basically, just to incorporate everything I've said, keep your profile updated. Use clear, concise, error-free writing. People are very. There was a client I was speaking to. I sent them a resume of a freelancer, and they didn't even take 5 minutes to look at their resume. They just saw spelling errors and the fact that it wasn't aligned. They were like, "I don't want to work with this person. They seem like someone who is not serious about the work that they do." Just from that, they didn't even have a conversation with them. So make sure that your profile looks presentable in the best way, optimizing your pricing and your services based on the industry standards. Two of the things that I did mention that Upwork allows you to do is to boost your profile. You pay for that. What it does is that it puts your profile in the front when clients are using keywords that should be within your bio, that should be within your skills, to look for somebody who provides the skills that you provide. So if you optimize your keywords, you optimize your bio, and you have your boost profile on, that will definitely push you to the front for clients, for more clients to reach out to you. The second thing is the availability badge. So what that for is, because my availability badge right now is off. Because I already have my full of clients, there's people that I want to work with. But what that thing does is it tells clients that you are available for work, which is another thing that pushes you to the front. So when they're looking for somebody within your niche, within the services that you provide, it flags to them that this person is available to work, this person is here, they do have the skills that you're looking for. So if you're willing to do it, definitely pay for this boosted profile thing and pay for the availability badge as well. And I think that also answers Amu's question a bit in terms of like, my profile is optimized, but I'm still not getting clients. Give the boosted profile feature a shot, as well as the availability feature a shot. Those things do help put you in front when clients are looking for you, right? And then the last part is just diving a little bit into Connect, because your profile is optimized. Everything is good. You've got the picture, you've got the video, you've got everything. It's great. It's to the best of your ability, and it's okay to do your best. It doesn't necessarily have to be the best in the world. So it's the best to your ability. You know you've put in everything that you can, and now outside of clients reaching out to you, because again, it's a competitive platform, you're speaking, there's so many other people on that platform that the client is able to reach out to. You now need to start reaching out to the client, which is where Connect comes in, which is where it's another segment of like landing clients and all of that, which is on the webinar that I first did, but a little bit on now the consistency and the connects part. Firstly, your profile can be perfect, can be optimized, but again, you're competing with multiple people. So you need to put yourself out there. You need to be very consistent. I do understand that connects are expensive and that most people try and avoid that route, but it is a route that will put you towards the top, that will put you in front of the clients that you're looking for, especially because of now you are going directly to those clients with a fully optimized profile. The hack that I've come to realize, which I did a little bit of research on to verify whether this is true, but I was applying for gigs myself, and I realized that Upwork charges the most connects for the most legitimate jobs. So if you want to apply for a gig and it costs like 21 connects or 22 connects, that's probably a high profile client, a client that has work experience, that has worked on the platform for a while, that has hired a lot of freelancers before. Basically, they are credible. And them being credible means what? That the likelihood of being scammed by them is less. Because that's the biggest like complaint that people have come to me with is, oh, I applied, I did work for this person, and then they just knifed me, they didn't say anything, or they scared me, they didn't care. Most of the time, you will what's this? How you get scammed is if you get off of the platform with the person. So avoid doing that. Do not get off the platform, because then they can make you do work without paying you. But then if you keep it on the platform, then the likelihood of that happening, they have put some barriers in place to avoid that from happening. So you find a job is 21 connects. 21 connects is a lot. You have 60 connects. So that means you can only apply for 3 jobs. That's where the choosing your clients carefully comes in. But know that if that client opens your proposal and they look at you and they talk to you, the likelihood of them being a great client is high, as opposed to some job that costs maybe 8 or 10 connects. That person's connects costs that much because maybe they're still new to the platform, or their payment is not verified, or they don't have the credibility as much as a high paying client or a client that's been on the platform the longest, which is where I'm getting to in terms of as much as Upwork rates you and grows your profile, it does the same thing for the client. So I would suggest applying for those high paying connects, but don't apply willy-nilly for any random jobs. Apply for jobs that you know you have 4 out of the 5 skills that they're looking for. You know your profile is optimized. You know that in your cover letter, you've optimized that as well, because that needs not necessarily its own optimization. The same process of that you would apply to your bio is the same thing that you would apply to your cover letter. Basically saying that these are my skills and this is how I can bring value to your organization, using that to optimize your cover letter and sending that to the client. A high paying connect job is most probably the most legitimate and the one that you are less unlikely to get scammed at because they've been on the platform for a long time. So Upwork recognizes them as a long-term client.
Timo, sorry to disturb you. We are running out of time a bit, so if we can, I think we can add a little bit of like 10 minutes more, 15 minutes more.
Yeah,
And yeah,
I am done on my
okay.
side. So any questions, guys, shoot. I'm here to answer anything. It doesn't have to be about the profile only. If I have the answer, I'll answer.
Okay, guys, you can ask questions or you can raise your hand or open up your mic. Okay, so let me see here in the chat box. Okay, so he says Upwork is a bit scary, to be honest. I'm hesitant when it comes to having a display picture. Well, it's needed,
Why?
right?
Tell me a bit about why you're hesitant. Maybe you can
You can open your
open.
mic if you
Yeah,
want.
if you can open your mic and just tell me a bit about why you're hesitant.
I think maybe it's Shainyana.
Okay. No, but I would love to hear because I've never heard that. So I'd love to give advice in the best way that I could. Um, because maybe it is something that needs to be addressed and maybe it's not just you feels this way. So maybe just tell us a bit, just a little bit. Doesn't have to be like a long story. You don't have to turn on your camera. Oh, okay. Okay. So someone raised their hand, I think before.
Mali,
Yeah, let's answer that and then we'll get back to Amber.
you can open your mic.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so I saw some like a post on LinkedIn, and the guy was saying that he was looking through what is it this thing Upwork
Mhm.
and seeing like the type of jobs that they were offering, but he wasn't like going after the jobs there on Upwork. He was going outside like Upwork to go and like pursue those clients, and you get like jobs like that. Like,
Mhm.
have you ever done something like that?
Yeah, one of the tactics that I apply. So this is actually a key top secret that that person shouldn't be sharing too much about, or else Upwork is gonna find a way to block it from happening. Um, but because of Upwork is an established platform, and a lot of companies, especially globally, are now using this platform to get talent because they can't necessarily afford a full-time employee with the benefits and all of that. So they want a freelancer, but a freelancer is just as good as a full-time employee. So what these people are is their companies, obviously they put together a job description, and what they do, two secrets. The first thing is you can copy the job description, put it into ChatGPT or put it to Google and say, like, find me something similar to this. ChatGPT, depending on how precise this job description is, can give you like a link to that, to let's say this company took their job description exactly as it is on their website and they put it on Upwork, because obviously they're lazy, they don't care about the tactics, they just want whoever they're looking for. So they don't care about hiding their identity per se, they just want the job description and they're not going to create a new one. So they'll just copy it from their website, they'll put it onto Upwork. You take that job description, especially if it's one that's super concise, you take that job description, you put it into ChatGPT. ChatGPT can link you back to that person's website and say, I found something similar, or I found these exact words on this website. That's one way. A second way is in these job descriptions, some companies, like they say, we at Virtual Africa are looking for a marketing specialist. That tells you already what the name of the company is. So all you need to do is take the name of the company. What I do is I do a Boolean search, and what a Boolean search is you just add like plus, or basically you add the words together, if that makes sense, to find what you're looking for. So someone is on Upwork, obviously it's an anonymous client, but in the job description it says we at Virtual Africa are looking for a marketing specialist. You take the company name, you take the job title, you go onto Google, you say Virtual Africa plus marketing specialist, there's a likelihood that that very same company will come up. Now you found the company. Obviously, when you get to the company, you get to the company website, the HR email is there, or the whatever email, the customers, or whatever email that you can find on their website. You get that email, you send an email to them, which obviously now is another thing because you need to have another template for that and all of that stuff. But that's basically a big hack of how people, go around Upwork without paying connects if they do that. But I don't advise speaking on it too much, because what Upwork is going to do now is that it's going to block words so that these clients can't say what their companies are and all of that, which it hasn't done that yet. So yeah, I hope that answers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Lebohang, we have some three hands, but Lebohang raised theirs first. So Lebohang, you can open your mic and ask a question.
Good morning. I hope everyone is okay. I'm sorry for the noise, the background noise. Um, I'm a virtual assistant and I did programs with
AI.
LAX.
ALX. Yeah, sorry. And I've done some few gigs, like Coursera, but I haven't really found clients. And I wanted to ask the new apps that you recommended along with Notion. I didn't really get the other app that you said that you are currently doing. Can you please tell me again?
So
And
okay.
and Upwork, would you recommend what you just said right now about paying? Because I've been skeptical about it. Outside Upwork, I've gotten some work through word of mouth, but I haven't really gotten anything out like that has paid me like good, because I'm trying to get like a stable income, not just like get like temps, which is what I've been doing currently. Thank you.
Okay. So your first question was about what apps should you use, né? Depends on your niche. So obviously every single niche has the apps that they are familiar with using. But for instance, you as a virtual assistant, you can use project management tools if you need to like manage certain like files or whatever for this client. The biggest ones are Asana, so that's ASANA, and Trello, which is TRELLO. And then Klaviyo is an email marketing tool that I just mentioned that most email marketing people use. But then there's also Mailchimp. There's just different tools. So you have to do research and find out what is being used in the industry. And the second question about Upwork. Are you asking me how can you get clients that pay you well on Upwork? Is that what you're asking?
No, I'm saying usual. Okay, I'm saying that I haven't really gotten anything.
Okay.
So how can I really market myself? Would you recommend that I pay so that they promote me? Like they, as you said, that sometimes you can pay and then they just put you in the upfront. Or what
Oh,
would you recommend for someone who's like it, like a startup for Upwork and other platforms? Actually, how can I really get more clients? Because as I said, I only the clients that I've worked for is like people that I've known, my friends, and word to mouth freelancing jobs that I've gotten. Haven't really gotten anything outside my cycle.
okay, cool. So I do go into more detail on this in the first webinar that I did. So I think maybe just in the group after this, maybe one of the Collabora team members, sorry, I can resend that link, or you guys can go on the website and have a look, because I do go into like specific things on how to find clients on Upwork. But most of all, what I had mentioned is you reach out to the client. As much as Upwork can boost you, when it boosts you, it doesn't necessarily say take this person. It just says, oh, I see you're looking for someone who's a virtual assistant. Here is a suggestion. But they also have the choice to not choose you, as opposed to you reaching out directly to the client with a strategy. Do you have a template that speaks to them, that speaks to the skills that they're looking for? Do you have the skills that they're looking for? Because remember, being a virtual assistant is generic. It's a lot of things. What kind of virtual assistant are you? Do you do social media? Are you a quality assurance tech virtual assistant? Are you a virtual assistant like an actual assistant? Do you do data entry? So being specific in those words and being specific in when you reach out to the clients, look at the job description, look at what they're saying they're looking for. Do you take at least 80% of the boxes of what they're looking for? Then you have a strategic way in which you reach out to them, which is what will be obviously in your cover letter. So it's like sending an email template of what it is you want to say to them that attracts them to you. But most of all, guys, outside of everything, consistency. That is the way in which you win this game, because every day there's someone signing up on the platform that's new. Every day there are people that have been on the platform for 20 years. Every day there are people who are running agencies on Upwork. So it's not just you. You're competing against individuals and agencies and companies. And so be as specific be that you as you can be, but also be as consistent as you can be. And I won't lie, being consistent on Upwork is a tad costly, which is why people end up coming up with these tactics of how can I find clients on Upwork but not necessarily speak to them on Upwork, because it costs money to do that. But if you want to build a freelance career, you want to build a stable freelance career on Upwork specifically, maybe start having some sort of budget in terms of how much are you willing to spend per month on connects. I did mention that connects are 3 rand each. I don't think they are more than 3 rand. So you buy those and use those wisely. They do give you 10 free connects every single month at the beginning of the month, but to add more, you need to buy each for 3 rand. So yeah, I hope I answered you.
Okay, so I think Amu is next, then Malisiba, then Farhana. But guys, again, time.
Yeah.
So you can go. Let's just, be quick about it. Amu, you can open your mic.
Hey guys, how are you?
Hi.
Good, good.
Yeah, sorry about the noise on the background. Okay. The reason I say that it is quite difficult, or I'm hesitant to upload a profile is something you get advice. Let's say, for example, on your resume, they will tell you that you shouldn't have a picture, right? I don't know if it applies even on Upwork, because now people, sometimes you can, I don't know, you can get judged from just someone looking at your picture, if you,
Your appearance.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you do need to have a picture on Upwork. Definitely have a picture on Upwork. In terms of being judged, the only thing, for instance, as you can see, I'm wearing a very low cut top. I wouldn't put a picture of me wearing a low cut top on Upwork, because as much as you're a freelancer, they do still want to have this somewhat of a professional aspect coming from you. So just a normal headshot picture. It can just be you wearing like a shirt. Doesn't even have to be a formal shirt, as long as it's not anything that's too, too unprofessional. From here to the top, standing against something blank, or if you can just find a white wall, it doesn't even have to be anything hectic. And having that, but definitely make sure that your picture looks professional. Don't post the picture when you're sitting in your car. It's a great picture, yes, but you need to make sure that your picture is a picture that is, especially because it's the first thing that they see when they see your profile. But I think outside of that, nobody's gonna judge you and your picture, as long as it's a normal looking picture and it's not anything that's too inappropriate looking. Yeah.
Policy.
Hi, you are throwing some gems here. I really love everything. And I just also wanted to add when it comes to what do you call, when it comes to paying for the subscription. I just wanted to say, come on, if you are gonna pay like a 200 subscription to lend a 15,000 project, it makes much sense. You are not wasting your money, because at the end of the day, you are going to end, I mean, you're going to get a retainer project. Who knows if it's a retainer, if you're a social media manager that pays you 15,000 and you just paid for 200 rand. So it's worth it. But I also have a question when it comes to approaching, like you mentioned, ChatGPT is our best friend. What are the hacks of using ChatGPT? Maybe a few tricks that I could use so that the next person who's reading my proposal message could really say, you know what, this is not ChatGPT, but they really connect with me and really want to open my portfolio and move forward with interview.
Yeah. The biggest thing for me, because I use ChatGPT for almost everything in this life, is speaking in a way that makes sense to the next person. So you need to tell it how to speak. Like, for instance, now before I type anything, I always say to it, use friendly tone or use casual tone or be relatable, just so it doesn't sound too robotic. Because obviously, if it's like, sometimes ChatGPT can do the most, they can do the most. So make sure that whatever it is that it's saying, it's not something that you wouldn't usually, it's not saying words that wouldn't come out of your mouth when as a person that people know that you are, unless you're someone who just randomly uses big words all the time. So tell it to speak in a specific tone, even when it's setting up your anything, your website, the if you're doing your own website and you want to set up the copy, it's an email template, it's anything that you're doing, tell it to speak in the tone in which you need it to speak in. Obviously, keep it professional. I like to say use casual and friendly tone, but keep it professional. And it will give me something that sounds like something that I would say. But also make sure that you read through. And then other hacks, Upwork is, thinking of Upwork, ChatGPT, honestly, guys, it's a blessing. It's the gift that keeps on giving. There's so many things that you can do that now. You can upload pictures, you can upload videos, you can upload voice notes, you can speak to it and tell it, like, literally how I'm speaking to you, that this is what I need you to do. So get the paid version if you can. I think it's 200 and something per month, I'm not sure. Get the paid version if you can. And what that will do is, obviously, it will create your account, and then you can start training it to speak like you, to sound like you, to produce content that you will produce, because it needs to be trained in itself. But you do learn these little hacks along the way. So yeah, that would be my answer to that.
Okay, so before we move on to Farhana, we have a question in the chat box, and it says, what are the basic laws that one can use, because some clients can push you to court when they are failing to pay?
Mm.
So maybe they are saying, when you want to start working with the client and then you are done with the work and then they don't want to pay up for the work that you did. So I don't know.
I feel like someone who's more within the legal field will have an accurate response. I've never even been through a situation like that myself, so I can't even give you an answer from a personal perspective. But I would say also depends on what's going on, who are you working with. Also, what does it cost you, guys? Pella, you need to remember, if you're working with an international client, their laws and your laws are not the same laws. So it's not like taking a South African client to the small claims court where you can just go there, walk to Home Affairs or whatever department that does those things, and you can get that person to pay you back. Will it cost you more than what you've basically already lost for you to get that money back? Is it worth it? Or do you just take your L and keep it moving? It hurts, I don't want to lie, but that's why I was making a big emphasis on the jobs that cost the most connect are the most legitimate, because you want to try and avoid situations where you're dealing with shady clients.
Okay, so let's Farhana, you can open your mic. She has had her hand up, so yeah.
Hi. Thank you so much for this webinar. I feel like I could listen to you the whole day because this webinar was so nice and informative. I have two questions. One, I wanted to ask, people say that Upwork is very saturated. So I wanted to hear your point of view. And secondly, I would like to ask, are there any other platforms like Upwork that is very beginner friendly?
Yes. Firstly, Upwork is saturated, but also, guys, I feel like people throw the word saturated around to kind of gatekeep, because they don't want more people having access, because that reduces their access. So I don't necessarily like the word saturated, especially when it comes to platforms. It's like saying LinkedIn is saturated. Everybody's on LinkedIn. That's where the jobs are. So you can't say LinkedIn is saturated. It's quite literally the same thing, because Upwork is a job platform. It's just that it's a freelance job platform, which goes back to why we're having this webinar in the first place. There's a lot of people. How do you become a part of the best? That's it. How do you become a part of the best? How do you reach out to clients the most in a strategy that works for you? But saying Upwork is saturated, don't go there, you won't find clients. That's not true. People just don't, they're trying to reduce as many people as possible to gatekeep the opportunities for themselves. So I wouldn't say that Upwork is saturated. I would say optimize your profile, which is exactly what this webinar is about. So go back, look at the things that I've spoken about, look at the first webinar that I did, and basically apply those tactics to your profile, to your strategy to make it better. Second to that, in terms of platforms that are beginner friendly outside of Upwork, we have Fiverr. Fiverr is not necessarily my favorite, but you can go there, you can set up your packages, and you have to do additional marketing because you cannot market yourself on that very same platform. Second to that, we have Twitch. So it's twitch.com. If you go on I think both my TikTok and my Instagram, I did do a video where I spoke about these different platforms where you can go on and find other freelance gigs. So Twitch is the very same thing as Upwork. But most of the clients are US based. It seems like it's populated with a lot of US companies. And you only are able to apply to, I think, 15 jobs at once, but it's free. So you're not paying anything. You can only apply to 15 jobs, but it's completely free. And if you want to have access to apply to more, that's when you pay. And then we have Contra. Contra is also very much like Upwork. It also has a lot of US companies. It's also populated with a lot of US companies, but it's also free to do the application process. But when you're setting up your profile, it's very, very concise. Like they want to know what are your skills that you're providing, because I think that's how their algorithm is built in terms of marketing you to the next client. So Contra is exactly like Upwork, except that you don't pay. And then there's one that I spoke of. It starts with a P. I don't know why I've forgotten it now. It's on my Instagram and my TikTok, so you can go have a look. But basically, it is also a very relatively new app, but the money there is very pretty. It's very pretty. So if you're gonna go there, you have to be a specialist, because it's mostly SaaS companies, so software as a service, tech companies hiring from this app. And the pay starts at like $40 or $50 per hour, but you really need to be quite good at what you do before you go on there. So just for reference, because I completely forgot the name right now, please go on my TikTok or my Instagram. I spoke about it in a recent video on how you can go onto the app. It's an app. It's not a website. It's an app. So you upload it on your phone. You create an account and you'll have access to all of those job opportunities that are also companies that are based in the States. So yeah.
Okay, so let's take one more question from Lebohang, and then I think we can close it off. Lebohang, you can go ahead.
I wanted to add on the ChatGPT thingy because I'm also a ChatGPT warrior, and I've gotten so many jobs outside freelancing through ChatGPT, and
Yeah.
I've passed all my interviews while I use ChatGPT. So what I normally do, I search the company history, I copy and paste on ChatGPT, and I search the description, copy and paste on ChatGPT, and then I take references, like reviews on the companies, I copy and paste, and then I say, please, what you said, you tell it what to do. Please create questions and answers based on this, right? Like you order it, you tell it what to do. Please create a motivational letter according to this company history, company culture, company values, and
Yeah.
job descriptions. And
Mhm.
then also alter my CV according to each job that I have, also to be able to negotiate, because you must first like have reviews, you must know what you're doing, like what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
So that's what I normally do. So I just search, or sometimes I steal other people's, because people do post their things,
Yeah.
right? So I take them and then I put my stuff, and then
Yeah.
I say, please alter according to this template, please make my own CV or whatso not according to that. So it was just like a tip.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Those are great tips. I think outside of, if let's say, because also freelancing is different for everyone. I do it full time, but some people it's more of like I just want like a side thing to supplement the income that I currently have. So even if you are a full-time employee, those are great tips to add to your own like job hunting skills in terms of looking for your next role. Definitely use ChatGPT to the maximum that you can use it. It'll allow you, as long as you are very concise about what you want, because obviously it does need to be trained, it does need to be told, but those are very, 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 very helpful tips, especially the questions part, because people, I was in an interview with a candidate, was asked questions about SEO and ads, and I felt so sorry for her because I couldn't touch. She doesn't know what to say. But a simple Google, search plus ChatGPT setup would have helped her prepare for that interview. So definitely use those tips, whether you're looking for a freelancing gig or you're looking for something full time. Yeah.
Okay, so guys, I just remembered something, and I know I said time, but
Yeah.
one last question from me,
Yeah.
right? So I saw somewhere on a group there
Mhm.
that said on Upwork, I mean, we know that getting clients is very difficult.
Mhm.
So and this person had said that you can get another person, for like example, I get you to like create a job on Upwork,
Mhm.
and then I apply for the job, and then Timo will hire me,
Mhm.
for example, and then you will write me like a good review. So like for example, maybe you and your friend are on Upwork, right? So
Mhm.
you give each other jobs as like your first job, and then you write each other like nice reviews and recommendations. So do you think like that's a bad thing to do with your friend?
I would not recommend.
Okay.
I honestly wouldn't recommend, because I feel that, I don't know if I'm the only person who has imposter syndrome sometimes, but when I apply for jobs, I want to know that I can do this thing, first of all. And the reason why I know that I can do it is because I've worked before and I've received the response and saying that I can do it. Second to that, Upwork is getting strict, guys. It's getting strict. It's getting strict. You can't even send links. You can't send numbers unless that person is already your client. So they're definitely going to pick up on that, because you can only create so many email accounts. Also, as much as it creates a profile for you, it creates a profile for the client. So if it looks like a dodgy profile, it's going to end up blocking the profile. For instance, I had opened a profile for Virtual Africa because I wanted to hire through that, but I wasn't as active as I am on my account as a freelancer, and it blocked that account. So if you just use a random account, give a testimonial, after a couple of months or after a month, it's going to block it, and that testimonial is going to be gone. So all of that effort would have just been for nothing. So I would suggest, also it might affect your profile as well. especially if you've built a profile over time, you don't want to lose all that data. So I would suggest staying away from, yeah, you're scamming the client now, Lena.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. So we are not doing that.
But what if you can do the job, but you're not getting an opportunity to get hired? Like you're struggling among the best, but you know you can do this. I'm just asking out of curiosity.
yeah, no,
What time?
like I know, I get the struggle. I know, trust me, I get it. And sometimes you become a little bit impatient because you want this job, you want this money, you want to start now, you've got things that are waiting for you and all of that. But refrain, guys, refrain. Rather, because it's the only hack that I will condone, that I feel that is not the worst, because I do understand that connects are expensive, is the one I spoke of, where you're able to find the company according to the job description that they've put, and sometimes they do put the company name there, so you can go out of the Upwork platform and go and Google the company and then reach out to them via email, because that one is not really messing with your profile. It's not really messing around on the Upwork profile, on the Upwork platform itself. You're just taking information and using it for yourself elsewhere. That's the only thing that I can condone.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I wouldn't recommend anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much to Timu. Guys, we have come to the end of the webinar. I know we took some few minutes and everything out of everyone's time, but thank you so much for joining us. Another thing I want to mention, I know there's some new people here. So guys, I've linked our WhatsApp our WhatsApp group link in the chat box, so you guys can go and join. And if you have any questions that come up during the day, you can send them in our WhatsApp group, and maybe we have a community of freelancers. Some people might answer you and things like that.
Yeah.
But once again, thank you to Utimu. She can share her details, Instagram, where we can find her, where you guys can follow her as well. She is amazing. So, Timu, where can people find you?
Yeah. Okay. Well, firstly, guys, next week on the 8th of March, I am doing an in-person consultation. I think I spoke about it on the group, but it's going to be on everything freelancing, not just Upwork. So how do you find clients? How do you enter? Where do you get the education? All of that stuff. I just want to I don't know if I'm going to do these sessions regularly, but I just want to give people the opportunity to ask me these questions in person, and it will be like a group kind of discussion where you're able to learn from other people as well. So if you are interested in that, please do send me a DM personally. I think there's about 8 seats left because it is an intimate event. So do send me that hopefully before Saturday, just so I can book you in for next week if you're interested in being a part of that. It's in Gauteng. So if you're in Gauteng and you can come through, do let me know. And then in terms of where you can find me, personally, if you want to follow me, you can find me on Instagram at TimTim. And then if you want to follow my business account, we've got virtual.africa on Instagram and on TikTok. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So we will definitely also share those links in the group so people can follow you, and if they're not already following. But once again, thank you so much, Timu. Okay, someone says hello. Can they have your email address?
Let me check. I have so many email addresses. It's Timologo, so TSHIMOLOGO at virtual with a double L Africa, like normal Africa.com.
Yeah.
You got that.
Yeah, but we'll send it in the group as well. Yeah. So if you're on the group, we'll send it as well, all of those details. But thank you to everyone who joined today. I hope you've learned something out of this. I know I did. So, and 2 more webinars like this where we educate each other and stuff like this. So thank you, everyone, and I am releasing you.